you have talents, you have strategies, you have an amazing team, but your environment is actually responsible for one third of the results of your law of attraction, of your wealth and your sales. So just think about every businessman or woman will say location is everything, right? Where is your location? But they don't talk about what's in your location.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Selling with Love podcast. This is your host, Jason Mark Campbell. Super excited today because I have a dear friend, an amazing transformational speaker, leader, author of Transform Your Life and the Energy Number book, Feng Shui Master, star in The Secret, Marie Diamond. Now, for those of you who are going to be following along on this episode, we're going to do something really cool and special. Mary actually has an app so you can find out what your Feng Shui number is, and we might be going deeper into conversation on how to use that, why it's important, how it could even affect your sales by just optimizing your environment. And while you have this app, which is going to be completely free for you to find out what your number is, you'll already be able to apply what you learn on the episode today. Now, Marie Diamond has the Diamond certification, does Feng Shui around the world, is sought after by the who's who when it comes to Feng Shui. And I'm so excited that she's coming on the show today to talk more about it. She's been a guest in the past, back when we were superhumans at work. And now I want to see what happens when we have a sales hat on and we get empowered with Feng Shui. Marie, welcome back. And it's good to see you again.
It's so amazing to see you, Jason. And I'm so happy to be with all your listeners and viewers today to help them with feng shui and to increase their sales.
Yes. Well, a lot of us are getting into business. We want to have more revenue. We want to have more profit. And Feng Shui has a huge component when it comes to like aligning with attracting wealth. And that's kind of been a big basis of Feng Shui in itself. Would that be an accurate statement that wealth creation and aligning attraction to wealth has been one of the fundamental drivers for the popularity of Feng Shui?
I think so. So feng shui is an energy system that is around for about 4,000 years and comes from China. And I would say all the people in power, if they were in politics or in to business, always used feng shui to increase their wealth. And so even my own experience with that, it has really increased my wealth and my popularity and the sales that I have done through my life and creating a business empire by using feng shui. So feng shui is what we say about one third of your alignment with wealth. So you can, of course, have your mindset. Some of you have a destiny, you have talents, you have strategies, you have an amazing team, but your environment is actually responsible for one third of the results of your law of attraction, of your wealth and your sales. So just think about every businessman or woman will say location is everything, right? Where is your location? But they don't talk about what's in your location. How does your location needs to look like? Yeah. How to set up your location. And that's actually what feng shui does.
I like that. Now, for a lot of people who might be having any kind of struggles with sales, and a big topic when it comes to this podcast is trying to overcome what would be sales blocks. Like we feel like energetically we don't even want to do it. We're blocked, and it's something that we can't even open up to. And I feel like the environment could play a big part in that. Are there some things that we could look into, maybe some of the base rules that we could do a quick audit from where we're sitting, where we're listening to this right now, that could be Feng Shui related and could actually be fueling these blocks from happening?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So the first step that we always talk about is how do you position yourself in any place that you're doing your sales. So if it's online sales, probably it's your in your office, right? If it's in sales that you're meeting people, so how do you position yourself? So the first rule is what we call the power position. That means you always have to set yourself up that you can see the door of the space that you are in. So right now I'm sitting talking to you. Of course, there's nobody physically here, but you are here and everybody listening and watching is here. So I see the door. So the door is over there, right? So I can see the door literally in my environment. When you do that, your brain opens up and your whole energy goes to the frontal cortex. What that means, you are actually more opening to solutions, to creativity. When you're sitting with your back to the door, You actually like sitting against a wall and with your back to the door, you're actually putting all the energy towards the reptilian brain. And what happens, you start thinking in the past, you start thinking about problems, and you start being more fear based in your solutions of sales. And also, you have to look all the time around you when somebody comes in, even if they're not physically coming in. So that's the first thing, but not just each time you're in your office, but each time you're meeting someone. So always, like I'm sometimes having networking meetings, I always make sure I'm there the first and I position myself. I can see the people coming into the space. If that's a restaurant or a lobby of a hotel or, any conference room I'm in, I always position myself. I call it as the queen or king position. That's the first rule, because your brain waves will change from beta into alpha. And when you're in alpha, you are much more enthusiastic. You come over with much more good vibrations, and your brain is open and clear. So that's the first rule. So that's very easy to practice. I mean, literally, you always be careful and pay attention where you're sitting and standing, right? So that's the first thing.
Well, I'd love to jump into this one, Mary, because I find it so true. And I'm just thinking back at a networking event that I do regularly once a month here in Bali. And it's kind of like a breakfast club. And I sat last time, I actually showed up late because, like you, I usually show up early and I get to put myself in that kind of position. And I feel more relaxed, calm, social, confident. All that is beautiful. And this time I showed up late and I had my back to the door. And I felt a little more like I wasn't comfortable in my seat. I was a bit more agitated. And I feel like this touches it very beautifully. And the second thing I want to do and say is at least brag a little that I do have indeed the door within my visibility so that I can be present, calm, and having a good time when I do these interviews.
Amazing. Yeah, and you know this rule already for quite a few years, and it has definitely attributed to your success, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I always say it's a very easy thing. Just be aware, change your desk around. Make sure you also do not sit with your face against the wall. Make sure there's space on the other side of your desk. Just imagine there is a client sitting on the other side of your desk, even if it's an imaginary client, and even if you can put a chair there, or two chairs. Like think about the CEO, they will have always like some chairs on the other side. So it's like you're saying, I am open to talk to a client. So if you're with your desk against the wall, you're actually hitting the wall, and there's like no space for a client to sit on the other side. So especially for people that work online, so that's like a simple change that they can make, but really improves your sales and the energy of what you bring out to the world with 11%. So that's quite a bit, right? Without doing more sales, you're actually increasing the energy of possibility and opportunities with 11%.
One of the things I talk about in my book is how a sale is an energy exchange. And that's how I define a sales is a process of a buyer and a seller that's doing an exchange of energy. And this energy could be money as stored energy for exchange of a product or service and all the other elements that go into a transaction. But emotion and the flow of energy is a big component. And I know that with these techniques you share, you open up the possibility for more flow to happen. And again, when it comes to sales, there's this thing which is like, oh, I need to be in the right flow. I need to be in the right state. I need to feel confident and ready. And the environment plays such a powerful part. And like on top of that, it's also like dressing and then putting your environment into this kind of king or queen mode, which I love how you reinforce that, because a lot of people that are in sales, they feel like they are begging, that they are below the client. They're acting small. There's anxiety. And that completely blocks the flow of energy.
Correct. And so let's say if you're sitting like this every day, you're creating that field of I am the queen and the king, and I'm powerful and I'm confident and I'm empowering. And what I do benefits, and is actually being of service to the people that you meet to share your service, your product. So that is going to help you to shift your mindset about that if you set up in the right position. So the second aspect I would go into is you need to also let go of things that do not longer are aligned with what your business is at this moment. Like some people have new products, some people have new service, or they go in a new direction. But what is still around them is sometimes talking still about the past. So it could be files, it can be books aligned there, anything, or just papers. Just let go and declutter of what is from the past and go through everything, visible and invisible. That means in your drawers, in your cabinets, what is connected with the past or things you don't have to use in the next year. So decluttering is a major thing, and especially where you're working, make sure that if you're sitting, your desk is organized. How can you have a conversation with somebody if there's chaos around you? How can you think there will be something positive coming from your conversation? But that's not just your environment where you are sitting. It can also be on your phone. If you have a hard time finding certain apps, if you look at your computer, you have a hard time finding certain folders. So organize both digital and physically so that there's no chaos. And even some people say, like, I have no time for that. I need to sell. Like, yes, but this is your basic. Think about again the queen and the king energy is like, a queen and a king, they have an organized life. Yeah. So they have no clutter around them. So let go of the things that do not longer serve you and organize what you have. So when I'm stuck in my sales, yeah, that's the first thing I always do. I go back to my environment and make sure that all the things I do not longer need anymore. And sometimes there's just like, marketing material I've been holding on to from something from the past. I'm like, I'm never going to use this again. It could be that I haven't organized my new projects really in a good way, digital and literally paper wise, right? So I always go back first to doing that. Like last weekend, I was like one of in this modes. I'm like, okay, I need to look through everything in my office. Not that sales were slowing down, but I have big projects coming up, and I'm like, I need to be on top of it. Yeah. And I need to make sure that every project has a folder, both physically. I like that to have it physically and digital. And so making sure that my whole team is connected with all these digital folders, the ones that need to be in place. So that's creating structure, but also letting go of things like, oh, I don't use this anymore. Let me delete that or put it in a storage or in a hard disk somewhere. I don't need to use it right away. So physical and digital decluttering and organizing is also part of good feng shui for your sales.
This one touches close to heart because I remember, I think it was in my early 20s, I had a coach that helped me optimize my environment because I felt so much chaos, and it was just a reflection of my environment. And I know how much the environment infects or gives me a boost to my current productivity because it's just a reflection of my internal state. And what I love that you expanded on, and I realize how important this is too, is this digital environment is taking more and more prevalence into our lives. And I wanted to ask you about this concept of translating feng shui, even as we talk about concepts coming up like the metaverse and having these things happening more in virtual reality. What are your takes and what have you been looking into when feng shui gets applied there?
Yeah. So one of the things is, that's the first thing is your screen. Like when you open your phone or when you open your computer, like so many people, they have like an overload of folders, like literally like hundreds of folders, right? So, and they have a screen behind it, like a picture or a video or something. I always say first make sure that you put something that really inspires you. Could be that you have a vision board, that you put like your vision board as your main screen saver, right? So that's somehow, or some goals, or kind of a lifestyle that you want. I would not put a desert on there or like a waterfall, because even if water is considered good feng shui, the waterfall kind of drains everything. It's too much water. So just be careful what you place there because it affects you. Or it could be your major new product that you want to launch, yeah, that you can put there. So subconsciously, you're getting the focus all there. And then make sure that the center, especially on a computer screen, the center is not filled with folders. So put your folders to the sides because you can just, take your folders and put them anywhere, right? And so that the center is open because the center, if you have space in the center, you have space to focus, yeah? And go into what are the folders that you don't need to see anymore? Like this is like make it practical. The ones you have to click really on all the time, but then put them to the sides, yeah? And the most important thing, the ones that are the strongest for you, the ones that are to do about finances, about future, about strategy, always put them upright in your screen, because when you look upright to the screen, you're actually focusing on future, and that's for every human being, if you're left-handed or right-handed. So when you put something in the upper right, that is, you will always think towards kinesthetic, towards the future, to positivity. So it's like upright, yeah, so the most important folders. But the same with your phone, like when you go to your phone, and like what is on the first screen, right? So what's on the first screen must be the apps that are important to you, yeah, and the ones that are not important to you, just and organize them also literally into albums of apps. Just organize things, um, because that is just very creating order in your life. And then with the whole metaverse, one of the things that we're talking about also, when you are working on your computer, when you're working in the metaverse, always face a good direction. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about when we talk about how personalized feng shui is. But that's perhaps our next step. So
Well, I find it all absolutely fascinating. And, for me, there's a huge element of like being conscious, being aware, and actually caring. All of these things that you're talking about is showing to the universe that you understand how the environment plays a part. You are caring to show that, okay, I want to have success. I want to bring order. I want to bring flow. And so I'm consciously taking energy. I'm doing some of these amazing techniques to organize things, make it more accessible. And now I'm aligned. And I think that even if you're somebody that might be skeptical about Feng Shui, I feel like just the process of putting your attention, caring, and optimizing already just shows you that you feel that you are enough. You are deserving to have the cleanliness, the order, and everything flow to you. And already that signals to the universe that you are ready for more. And I think that's one of the most powerful things. But if you're like me and a little more spiritual, you also love Feng Shui and you feel it really works for you. And I think for most listeners here, we're tapping into some really magical stuff here. So I'm super excited about it. I love the advice we've gotten so far already. And I know we talk about how we can be more personal in the way that we apply Feng Shui. And of course, that is exactly where I'd love to go.
well, so when you download the Mary Diamond app, the energy number, we actually can find out based on your birthday and your birth sex, we can actually find out what is your energy number. Now, there are 9 numbers, and every number is actually setting up a different vibe in your environment. And so based on the energy number, you will get 4 directions, that compass direction, because it's about wind and water. So it's about how the wind, how the flow comes towards you, and how to tap into the flow. And based on your birthday, you have for the rest of your life, you have a certain direction that is what we call success and money, what is very important for business, overall business. And we also have a second one that we call relationship direction, especially for sales. That's very important because you're always, as a salesperson, you always needs to be in a harmonious and a positive, vibrating connection with your clients and with your team. So that is the second one. So how can you find out? So you go to the app, Marie Diamond, the energy number, and I'm going to do this for you, Jason. So I need to know your birthday, if you can share that with me.
I sure can. And by the way, there will be a link in the show notes for everybody who wants to follow along, download this app. Feel free to pause this episode. Go right now, click on the link in the show notes. You'll see Mary Diamond's link to the app. It's available on both Android and Apple.
Yeah.
And my birthday is the April 17th, 1988.
So the 17th of April, 1978.
88.
Oh, 88. Oh my God. You're so young.
Why, thank you. I will take that.
Oh, yeah, confirm. And so you're male, so I have to put that in. So you will calculate your energy number, right? So you're number 3. Yeah.
Yes.
See that, right? And so you have here directions. Yeah.
Now, I just want to brief for everybody who's listening to this episode, as we are doing this as a video as well. Maria is showing me on her app that I'm Energy 3 and the options that are there. So if you do want to have a visual experience with the podcast, you can always hop over to YouTube. I do have the Selling with Love channel where all of these episodes are available, or simply go to sellingwithlove.com and you can always see the audio and video together. Mary, carry on.
Thank you for sharing that. So your success direction is south. Yeah. So you will see, I can share then this with you to your WhatsApp or email and so forth. But let me continue. So you will see then once you have put in your profile, you will actually get this whole image where here it says 5 because that's my number, but for you it will say 3. Yeah. And then when you click on that, you will actually get all kinds of videos to activate your success and money. It will talk about the power position, how to activate your success. So steps you can do based on your energy number, what you can do to place in your success directions. Your success direction is something that you always need, first of all, to declutter, to organize, and then to place the right items there. So how can you find that out? So you will then get a diamond compass. And so these are here, what you see are the compass directions for me because it's connected with my profile. Yeah. So for you, it will be different, Jason, and for everybody else, depending on their number. But you will see you will have one that's called success direction. So for me, this is southwest. For you, it will show up on the south. Yeah. Okay. So what you then do, you hold your compass, like you don't need to get downloading another compass. The compass is in your app and is based on your birthday. You hold your compass and then you see what is in my direction of success. So for you, that is south, Jason. For me, it's southwest. So I'm actually, the southwest is behind me, right? And so even if I don't see it, I still activate it. So I place there are some major files there. There are some my home study courses. I have awards there. I actually normally put my vision board there, but I took it away because it's not, so visual like what for the television here. But so I put all the things that I am working on towards the future. Yeah, that is, and the things I do already can be your logo, can be your physical products you're selling, it can be images of your online products you're selling. So I have normally a whole vision board and a whole board that I put there with all my goals and all my things, but is now literally on the other side because I can look at it at the same time. But that's what I do. I call a success corner. Yeah. And that's the first thing you would like to do. Even if you don't look at it, you still activate it. The second one, and you will see on your compass, yeah, that you will also have a relationship direction, and that's actually indicated in rows, yeah. So you hold in the center of the space your compass, and you see where the rose is pointing at. So rose is actually here for me, and I am doing online business. I always put up a globe. Yeah, because when you're online, you never know where the clients are coming from. I have clients in 190 countries, so I definitely put the globe up. But I also put images of my team. Yeah, I put images of my top clients, and that can be logos of companies, that can be your high-end clients, or they can be even, images that you say like, this is the kind of client I would love to have, right? So you create like a whole corner of that, and it actually subconsciously is giving you a message because your environment is telling 24 hours a day a message to you. Yeah. So your success and your relationship direction in sales are key. So let's say you have there something that is totally unrelated with your business, take it away. Yeah. Because it's actually, blocking you energy then. Let's say you have dead plants there. Like we never want to have dead plants here or spiky plants, or anything that is like, you look at it like, this is not what my business is about. Yeah. So especially always get a space in your home where you're saying, this is where, even if you're working online, this is where I work the most online. It could be your office, it could be your dining room area, could be even that you work in your living room, then use that space where you spend the most time on your business, yeah, to activate these two directions. Yeah. So that is available for free. And so, if you want to go to the next level, you can actually go to the premium level, and then you get per month all feng shui tips, also a lot of meditations to clear the energy, to also to find out the energy numbers of other people and to be able to send that to them so that they can start looking at what is going on in their environment. So this is what for the free app you have a lot for information to already find your energy number, to find your compass, to start working right away on your success and money, and with a lot of videos. And this way you can really implement feng shui very personalized, yeah, based on you, not on somebody else. These are not the general rules that, there are a lot of general rules in feng shui, but this is the one that I have seen is the most fast working to increase your sales.
Well, Mary, thank you so much. You know what? While you were doing it, I had to go and activate my own app. So I'm going to be a part of this app program as well. And I'd love to hear from everyone who's listening to the show and is excited about finding out their feng shui number. So the moment you do set it up, make sure you post what is your number on Instagram. And don't be afraid to tag both myself and Marie Diamond about the fact that you just heard about it on this show. We'd love to be able to reshare and be able to interact with you as well. That's a really powerful thing that you can do to at least open up the flow for energy. And I don't know what your beliefs are around feng shui, but I'll tell you this. Whether you fully believe it or maybe believe it, the fact that you consciously take an effort to say, I want to welcome more success and better connections and relationship in my business, and you take an action to show that you are taking this seriously. And I was on another show and we were talking about the difference about being interested in something and committed to something. Mm-hmm. And I think that when you go and realize that, you know what, this cannot hurt. This will only give me more benefits, and now I have a tool that is fun to use, and I promise you, it is absolutely fun, especially if you're with your partner and you can compare each other's numbers and optimize the home together. You can make a ton of magic happen, align a ton of things so that you have more success in your business, and maybe that'll be the beginning of your journey so you can start to embrace sales into a beautiful art. Which, Mary, I wanted to dive away from Feng Shui. Well, it's still very related, but I wanted to hear about your journey and your relationship with sales. So a lot of people have blocks around sales, but very comfortably, like we're here, we're on the podcast, we're talking feng shui, we're promoting your app as well, which I think is a beautiful thing to do. You seem very comfortable with selling your programs, selling your products. Has it always been this way, or have you done some work to get better at sales or feel more comfortable with it?
Well, I started my journey at 31, and I come from a lawyer perspective. So I'm a lawyer. And so as a lawyer, we don't sell really our services because, that's like not done. But, you wait till people are kind of coming. Now in the USA, they do it differently. They do big sales around. But I come from Belgium, and in Belgium, you don't do that. But so the whole point is when I started my spiritual journey, most people, especially as spiritual teachers, they would set up a nonprofit. And I immediately set up a for-profit organization, what was not done at that time in Europe, right? Because when you're going on a spiritual journey, you have to kind of almost like, wait till people hand you money over. And so I was like very clear from the beginning that I wanted to have this a long term, right? This is not just something I was doing for a couple of years. And so I was like looking at what is the best way. And I remember at the beginning, I was like falling in that trap of like, as a spiritual teacher, like, oh, you can give me whatever you want, right? And so at a certain point, like people would give me something and I would say like, oh, it would be nice to, around this amount of money, right? It would be nice if you give me that. But I was talking about giving, right? It was like, I was not like, this is the price. Yeah, I would not use that. Yeah, and I remember once what was a big aha moment for me is that somebody came to me and said, well, I didn't bring you money, but I brought you a kilo of coffee beans. Yeah, I know why people would think that. I was teaching an hour, and I got a kilo of coffee beans. Now, on top of it, I'm allergic to coffee, so I cannot even use it. And I was so
Because
pissed off.
Mary, I could say, like, if someone brought me a kilo of coffee, depending on how freshly roasted that bean is, that might be the perfect thing to pay me in.
No, 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 no. I was so pissed off. I have to be honest. I was like, that's it. I'm telling from now on what my value is, what my price is. And so I started doing that. And then I made a decision that each time when I had this price set for my consultations, for my coaching, and if that my agenda was full, I would double the price. Yeah, I kind of made that up for myself, and so it's like after a few months, my agenda was full, like I doubled the price. And then again, I doubled the price. And so, and like now, I get very well paid per hour by my clients. And so it was just like energetically, I had to commit to that, to say like what my value was. And of course, then I started really implementing when I was like 32, 33, all the feng shui for my business. And I wanted to go to America. So I put in my success directions images of USA. And then suddenly I started having clients from the USA. This is before internet, right? So suddenly people found me. And I've seen by using feng shui, it's like you open up such a flow that people find me easier. Yeah. Even if I don't do that much marketing, I have to be honest, I don't do that much marketing. I do marketing, of course, but not like what other people sometimes do. But I do believe that my office is doing marketing for me energetically. Yeah. And so one of the things is that I put things out, like I remember I put in my success direction, I am ready to be a teacher on Mind Valley, like literally. And I put a picture of Vishen Lakiani and me on there in my relationship direction that I had, but because we met before. And so like 6 weeks later, he calls me like, we're ready for you. Like, yeah, I'm ready too. So you start adding, I call it energetic marketing by using feng shui. Yeah. And like I said, I do my normal marketing, but I don't do, overdo this. Yeah. But I also have clients that have stayed. And if you do good feng shui, the clients stay with you. That is very key. And I have clients that stay with me already more than 25 years. Yeah. So I can say that because I'm already quite a long career. But when people come and they start using my work, they see I would say almost the magic happening from it. It's like the ceilings that they have created with their own mindset, it opens up and you start having like new people coming in, new opportunities coming in, because your home has become this three-dimensional vision board for your sales.
I absolutely love that. And I think for so many people that, they're fighting an uphill battle when it comes to sales. I think there's so much that can be applied from the way to use the things that you have used to bring more effortlessness, more activities that are aligned to actually bring the success into their business. And Feng Shui ends up being a big part of that. I have always had an interest in Feng Shui, but I have to admit, this interview, this podcast episode is giving me the kick in the butt to really go back and reassess my current environment, upgrade to another level. And that's always something I love about every time I go back to learn with you, is there's something more that I can do, including doing digital declutter. That's a big one because I noticed for myself, like I have transitioned from my old employment, been with Mindvalley for a while, but I'm moving on to my own things. And I remember how I still had an email account. I still had files on my computer, which kept me attached to the past. And recently, I ended that email. I deleted a lot of these ties, and now crazy different opportunities have been flowing into my life. And I'm thinking, this has an energetic meaning, a massive one. And so not only am I physically optimizing, I am digitally optimizing.
I just want to give you a tip for as you're doing this work, right? So I know you have your book out, like a little bit on the side here. Just create something magically above you, like selling with love, instead of that image there, right? And then you have something to the right. I don't know what it is, but it disturbs me very much.
This one?
Yeah, what is that?
That's a shelf which has love and all sorts of books on it.
Okay, because somehow there's something sharp there. So
it's a cactus, Mary.
That's it. Wow, I just been disturbed by it, to be honest. So get that cactus out. Cactuses are plants to be outside your home because they are spiky and they actually influence the nervous system, and
I'll tell you what,
subconsciously they're actually
it's not even a
affecting you.
real cactus. It's pieces of wood that make it look like a cactus.
Okay, doesn't matter. Visible cactus or like symbolic, take that out, yeah, because a cactus is in the desert, it's not in a lush environment, yeah. So this is always giving a poverty vibration, cactuses, yeah. So get that out, okay. Put a nice lamp there, right? So there's light shining behind you, like I have a lamp behind me, yeah. When you have a light behind you, you always shine more, right? And people trust you more when you have a light behind you. Yeah.
Well, that one is definitely not by accident, as I always will make sure to have a beautiful kick light behind me so that
Yeah.
you can see me distinct from the background. And again, I didn't even realize it has my feng shui functions there as well. I have a
Yeah.
powerful action. Mary, thank you so much for giving that to me. And for everyone else that's listening, you have an app you can download. There's some decluttering you can do to your physical and digital space. Understand that if you are going to be successful in sales, any edge is going to be beneficial and giving you exponential results because sales and building a business, every effort you make to be better optimized and more conscious of the success you want to bring into your life is a huge advantage over everything and everyone else. So now you have a new tool, Feng Shui. Do the optimization, download the app so you can know your numbers and use the success direction. Put in what is necessary for you to see that you want to attract that into your life. The relationship section, see what kind of connections, who are the key accounts, the key clients, the key people that you could be working with that would make your life so much better, make your business grow amazingly. And of course, when you find out your number, of course, go and post it on Instagram, tag me and Mary. We'll have all the links in the show notes so you can tag us, find us, and download the necessary tools. But I love this episode. Thank you so much, Mary. So practical, so fun. And I have some work to do in my home, so I know what I'll be doing right after this session. And I know for everybody else listening, there's a few things you can do right away as well. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It's always a pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you so much, Jason, and thank you for practicing your energy number.
Thank you. I am your host, Jason Mark Campbell, and this is the Selling with Love podcast.